Hi, this is my rendition of Anna von Reitz webinar, April 18th, 2022. She's had many problems with banking this week, trade commissions, filing charges, dealing with charges being filed against her. The banks are starting to get really nasty. Um, she was charged with trading with the enemy, but all of her paperwork is in order and they have no true claims. Her name, she has a German last name, so I'm being cast as an enemy German infiltrator. Except there's only one problem with that. 3 generations were born here, and my dad served honorably. He was discharged in 1945 from the Army. German and Russian gold are missing. Anna notified the countries of their inheritance and how to apply for it, and this is what she was served with because of it. They took that as trading with the enemy. I believe they have overreached. She got a letter from a German citizen talking about the 360 circle that just keeps going round and round, because in Germany they are under the same kind of problem that we were under. They're under occupation by the deep state, the U.S. corporation. The entire country is under confiscation until a peace treaty is signed. Constant 360 circle to continue the fraud in their own interest. They were being treated exactly like the United States after the Civil War. Many countries in the world are in this state of being. They need peace treaties to be released from confiscation. The law, it's called a SHAEF law, was created. This kind of law is trying to charge Anna with calling her an enemy combatant. And these laws are originated out of the territorial laws and statutes. This was the reason for warmongering, making money for profit off of war, supporting both sides, assuming authority of power they never had any rights to. Titles of nobility: the Queen, knighting generals, sworn to the King and Queen. Illegal to work in our government, a conflict of interest, even though most of the generals that are working in our government right now have been knighted by the Queen. This week I released an article, Jurisprudence, about the military protecting Americans from enemies, foreign and domestic. Military is having a problem understanding this concept. Our military has been commandeered by a foreign government, by the Queen, Pope, and Britain. They are obstructing our lawful government, waging war on our own country. Land and soil overstates sea, because technically at the bottom of the sea is land and soil. So we are the highest tier. She jumps to Ukraine. Lies on the media, don't listen, bought and paid for propaganda, all frauds, but all supported by the U.S. corporation. There is a rumor going around about selective service. It's mandatory for sign up. It doesn't apply to you. This is only for the territorial municipal citizens and their dependents. No lawful or legal draft. All is voluntary. So you cannot get in trouble if you're not part of their system. All generals better hear this loud and clear. We are the employers and you have no contracts. Both territorial and municipal governments, both bankrupt, all actions taken unlawful and theft. Thank you to Tim. He's a researcher. Continental Army was faithful. Our place in history is established. All right, I want to talk about the DMV just a little bit. The right to travel is a natural right. The right to drive a motor vehicle is a natural right. The only thing that the DMV has authority over is commercial activity. This is an entity making public money on public roads for private gain, like a trucker, a courier, a delivery servant. License plates gives permission to do something that would otherwise be illegal. Police assume that you are making a commercial transaction because you have a license plate and driver's license. Whenever you're stopped, I am not a voluntary participant in any commercial transaction. Private right to travel has equal of law to the right to having the right to trade in commerce. They're not supposed to turn on their blue lights unless there is an emergency. It's about making quotas to make money for the U.S. corporation. Ask officers what commercial business you're conducting. The Constitution guarantees, by Article 4, no harassment, no arrest or detainment. You have to be a commercial motor vehicle to be stopped unless you're being dangerous. Making driving into a privilege. With a motor vehicle, you're driving and it's a commercial purpose. If you're in an automobile, you are traveling and it is your private purpose. They can't say one word against you or stop you even. It doesn't matter if you're speeding because their laws don't apply to you. It only applies to their commercial entities. So it's not an emergency if you're going 5 or 10 miles over the speed limit. But if you're being dangerous and reckless, then it is. Posing a threat against the people and or their property. Protect your right to travel in an automobile privately. Here is some legal knowledge to back you up. Rodriguez versus Ray Donovan. And he was the Secretary of Labor. So this is the Department of Labor, that Rodriguez versus the Department of Labor. Anyway, 769 F 2nd, 1344 through 1348, 1985. All codes, regulations, and state codes apply only to government authorities only. No human entities. All unconstitutional on persons. This was directly off of their citing. And so all of the laws that they have are unconstitutional when it comes against persons. That is for only government authorities only. And you can even cite that to the officer. SGT report. 2-hour report. Very good. It's on my site. Cliff High. It's well researched. Has backed the assemblies. I'm not exactly sure what the SGT report is. She didn't go into that. I'm sorry. Commissions. Where is this ideal from? It started in 1960. It broadened over the years. Now there's a sheriff coroner. There is no such position. But how did it come to be that you could make these positions and commissions? Well, it came from the Railroad Commission. This is how we got our Leos. The Leos were illegal until the Pinkerton Act. The British Police Service is the Pinkertons. They were needed to guard the money, which was payroll on railroads. That's how Leos entered the scene that allowed foreign officers on U.S. soil. And so that's how they originated, and the commissions have broadened since then, and Now we have police commissioners. Well, they make their own rules because they don't have anyone governing them. So, all of the paperwork received from the IRS or court systems is proof of fraud. Keep all your documentation. All right, the Miller Act. This was a law that came into action because of child labor laws and contracts of labor. And the Miller Act is to prevent anybody from being charged with these while your child is under construction. While growing up, the Miller Act covers the legality of the child labor laws and the child labor contracts. Because remember, they wrote on your bonds, that was your labor contract when you made out your birth certificate. And then they also gave one to your afterbirth. All right, so this tied into everybody misaddressing you as a territorial citizen, as a municipal citizen, not recognizing me as a United States American, not recognizing my jurisdiction. Well, when you go to court and they ask you who that person is, you can come up and say, do you claim to own me? Where is the defendant that is there that you have named? It's not me. So they would have to produce that point, or, are they saying that they own you because they have that entity? Why do you keep misaddressing me? Securitization process. Christopher Story, he has done some research on this. It's illegal and unlawful. It's a universal boilerplate securities transaction blueprint that governs your commercial life to recover your securities. An anon fraud making afterbirth an entity. From start to finish, this is all of the fraud, and each one of these has different forms of fraud within them from the time you're born to the time you die. And so it goes from abstract to the long form to the short form, your birth pledge, your estate, Sistaki Trust, birth bond, BC record, BC bond, treasury bond, social security number, social security bond, and then DTC. And in each one of these forms, you have some type of fraud passed from one to the other. And they have made profit off of each stage as they have went along. Their process, they do everything by legalization, registration, certification, securitization, and general deposit. It's a blueprint over every action we have with the government. This is their business model. Enticement and entrapment into a contract that benefits them and subjects you to them. Uniform securitization scheme. An example would be, they're an IOU, basically, what we would identify as Federal Reserve notes, backed by the value of your labor and creativity. Your value is going to be paid out in equal securities, not equal value of goods for value. Fake money. Had to create bookkeeping debit credit system equal to zero every night to cover the theft. Double books. There is no national debt. All bookkeeping errors. Accounts mismanaged to cover fraud. Catholics. There's an invitation to a synod going out to a lot of different Catholics to take part in discussion to form the future goals of the Catholic Church. If you're interested, you need to talk with your people that you go to church with. and it will be available through Anna too. The direction of where the church will be going forward. The largest, most powerful, and the richest church in existence. It needs the people's voice and input into the synod. Protect life. Aborted fetal cells. Flavor enhancer on your food, on many products, especially sauces, mayo, ketchup, salad dressings, soft drinks, and processed food. Evil, cannibalism, honors their God Baal. Protect innocence so you'll also be protected. Teach your children, don't allow death in your life. Natural flavors is aborted fetal cells. Stringing along the people. This is not my style. I'm a doer, but the longer that we go, the more I find about all of the abuses the bank, the government, the corporations have enacted against us. They have to come clean and stop. They have to come clean and stop defrauding the people. It will no longer be accepted. What means we have to be looking, analyzing, researching, identifying frauds, and take action like filing charges. Obstruction of commerce by the trade banks. The Veterans Program, 5 million responded, 169 service centers. Funding is already available, but they have the money but don't have the process of giving it away yet. So they're working on it. Unions, professional associates. There has been a major manipulation of your guilds. They're off track. Mostly it's about organized crime and payoffs. The AMA, look how they supported the vaccine and the pharma industries. Longshoremen, they'll look the other way at trafficking children. The Bar Associate, the representative of the Queen, they're foreign agents. We have to reevaluate unions and professional associates. Banks. German heritage, Anna not known to the territorial government. She provided their own paperwork to identify herself. Bankers are stuck on commercial interests, not able to take over international trade interests. When people make it an issue by masses, they'll back off and the law acknowledged. Donations still needed, especially fight with the banks. We have the law on our side. Keep pushing forward. Just be patient. The truth and the law is on our side. Be positive. Go to your happy place. Good night and God bless. Thank you for everything and all of the donations that I've received. Have a good night. Thank you.